So when you load data into R from some external source, it is very, very likely that some of your variables are not going to be stored as the correct data type initially, and that you're going to need to do some conversions. So some common things that you might need to convert are things like something that's being stored as a decimal, you want to be stored as an integer, or vice versa, maybe. So for example, year and month, these are both being stored as decimals. We can check that with the type of command. And just to recall what this syntax here is doing, if I want to refer to a single variable, a single column of a data frame, then the syntax is to name the data frame, then type a $sign, and then type the name of the variable. So this is saying the year variable is a decimal, the month variable is a decimal. And there's no reason why I would want month to be stored as a decimal. These are values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. So we can convert from decimal or from to an integer using a function which is called as integer. So I can say, take all of the data in the year column and convert it to integers. So that's what this first part does over here. And now if I want to store this someplace, I need to assign it somewhere. And what I want to do is I want to store it on top of, I want to write over the original year data, which was being stored as a decimal. So what this is doing is it's saying, take the original year data, which was being stored as a decimal. Instead of storing it as a decimal, store it as an integer. And now assign this rewrite this over the year variable. So this is now going to store this result back in the data frame storms, and it's going to store it back in the year column. So it's going to overwrite the years, which were being stored as decimals, and it's now going to store the same year values. It's just going to store them as integers. And this is going to do the same thing for the months. So it's going to take all of the months which were being stored as decimals, convert them to integers, and then store them back in the storms data frame in the month column. I don't see any output here because I didn't ask any output to be printed to the screen. This just did the conversion. I can check that the conversion was done correctly. Now these type of commands tell me that year and month are being stored both as integers. And if I want to check the structure of that command, of the data, I can do structure storms. And now notice that both year and month, which were initially being stored with the number data type as decimals, after we ran this conversion, we overwrote that, and now they're being stored as integers. Great. So that's how you can convert from integer, from decimal to an integer.